Here we are again, 3 months later since our last update. We were really hoping we didn't need to give another update, but unfortunately from the trends that we've been seeing, we felt it necessary to give another update. And I've invited my colleague here, Jason Marsh, who's the CEO of Flow. We are not epidemiologists. We are data storytellers. We've built this platform to better convey information to a non-technical audience. And so the last update we gave was around April 9th, and that's when we were starting to see this flattening of the curve. And we were hoping that would continue to decrease. The number of new cases on a daily basis would keep going down and down until we've done for this wave. But and that's something we saw in Italy and Spain and the UK and elsewhere. But instead, it was around June that we started to see that increase, that it started to jump back up at a pretty dramatic rates. And then we're not just in the US, it's Brazil as well, where Brazil is increasing pretty dramatically as well. So let's dive in. What's going on in the US? And so what we'll first look at here is a per capita basis. So this is looking at a per capita basis, what's the percentage of the population in the US that's actually impacted? And so we can see some pretty dramatic numbers, right? I mean, in New York, over here, I think it's almost 14% of the population is actually confirmed positive with COVID. Jason, would you like to add more to this?
I just think it's real dramatic. You hear in the news some of the hot spots like Yakima County in Washington and also Imperial County in Southern California. And those hot spots are just so dramatically clear in this kind of a visualization.
Yeah, it really took me by surprise. Really, when you look at this per capita, it's quite dramatic compared to when you look at the more traditional graph, which is just the total number. So just looking at the total number. And it's no surprise that the large city centers are those epicenters, right? New York, LA, around Chicago, because there's more of a population. But having that per capita basis is so important to actually understand what percentage of the population is really being impacted here. And so, let's look at some of the states that are of concern here and why we're talking about them. We saw that New Jersey on the East Coast and many others, they were reaching this peak in April and starting to decline from there. But that, Arizona, Florida, Texas, California, the trend is opposite, right? That we're seeing those dramatic increases. And especially Arizona compared to the size of Texas, Florida, and California in terms of population, that on a per capita basis is actually more impacted right now. And so it's something to be concerned about. This is the trend that we don't want to continue because this is not the total number. This is the daily increases that is of concern. Jason, would you like to add anything else here?
Yeah, what I find interesting here is this inverse curve relationship, right? That, New Jersey and I assume New York would be similar. This looks like it's a completely opposite process and shape than California and even Arizona and certainly Texas. So it just draws to me attention to the fact that this is still a very local phenomenon, that the virus isn't just going to do what the virus does because that's what the virus does. Instead, it's going to really be impacted by how that local population, both how that population decides to wear masks or not decides to wear masks, and government policy. Yeah, in many regards, I've heard lots of talk around how there's so many natural experiments are happening in both the world and even on a state or county basis in terms of the local responses, Rhode Island being a really good example of that. And I think we'll see how this all plays out. And I'm not going to talk about it here because I think we need to do more on the data, but just to end off that, yes, we have to think about things on a localized basis and see how policies are impacting. But overall, we're in this together, and we want to bring some clarity using data, and using data is that cornerstone by which we can have the productive conversation. So thanks so much, and hope to talk to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.